Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Co-Creating with AI. This is our journey exploring and understanding the fast-moving world of AI. I'm Rasmus, and today I don't have Martin with me because he's feeling under the weather. So I just thought I'd do a short episode, talking a little bit about what's going on and some reflections on it. So I think the main things this past week has been rumors and hype. But this rumor and hype point to some quite interesting developments, and especially with regards to, like, in combination, how this affects the likely near future of both, like, the intelligence of these AI models and what they can do, and how you can apply them. So I just thought I'd share my thoughts this week. So the first kind of thing is that's happening is that speed and efficiency. So speed and cost seems to be soon to improve a lot across the models. So I think we've spoken previously about Grok, GROQ, which has, like, 10 to 100 times quicker inference. You get, the tokens generated, the text generated comes out much, much quicker, which then empowers, say, agentic workflows where there are a lot of steps that the AI system needs to take in order to accomplish what you want to do, of course, much more reasonable. Because if you have, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds per step in an agentic workflow, and you have 10 steps, then that's, quickly becomes quite a lot and makes it, inefficient. And also, just from a consumer behavior standpoint, we're not really used to waiting for stuff that long. So if we just look at what's happening now, both NVIDIA, Con AI, and Google's Nyla worker are really targeting inference. So inference is the step when you actually use an AI model. You usually talk about training when the AI model is built. You take a bunch of data, you run it through this neural network, and it becomes smart, so to say. But then you want to use this intelligence to actually do something for you. And that's the step of inference. So you give it an instruction, a prompt, you maybe give it some data with that, and maybe you tell it to use some tools, go out, search on internet, etc., in order to accomplish something from you or for you. Potentially, competitor research or market analysis or content creation or strategy. So it really seems that the speed will keep going up and will go up a lot in the near term for all the big models. And that cost will continue going down. We've seen, like, a order of magnitude decrease in costs. So, basically decreasing to a tenth every year for, the past few years. But it seems like even that might be speeding up, which of course means that it becomes even cheaper to use AI as compared to doing the work yourself. And already, if I quote the founder of the AI fund, Andrew Ng, if I pronounce that correctly, the cost of generating 1 hour of reading material, so that's a lot of material, costs like 8 cents already. So that's a big, a very small number for producing something with potentially a lot of value. And if that then becomes 1 cent and then 0.1 cent over the next couple of years as well, then of course that will be something quite significant in terms of how you can deploy this across companies and for yourself in your daily life. And the other kind of rumor that's out there is the step up in intelligence. So there's, for those who have been hanging out on Twitter and on AI newsletters, there's been these rumors going around about Strawberry from OpenAI for a while, or Q Star. And there's been a lot of, discussions around why did Ilya Sutskever leave OpenAI? Was because he saw some super powerful model that would be unleashed and would be dangerous, etc. We don't think that's, the case. But what seems to be true now and seems to be more concrete is that the Japan division of OpenAI has come out and in a Japanese language blog post talked about GPT Next 2024, and that it's supposedly going to be 1,000 times better than the current kind of state-of-the-art model they provide, which is GPT-4o. And of course, 1,000x better. It's very vague, right? It could be smarter, it could be fast, it could be a combination of the three, even combined with cheapness. But it seems like they're pretty serious on releasing GPT next, GPT-5, whatever you want to call it, this year. And then they're using that model. There's been some rumors recently to train an even smarter model called Orion by generating synthetic data that the Orion model is trained on. And also that they were kind of checking in with the US security apparatus, kind of Pentagon, to make sure to demo these models before they are released, which seems that they are serious about the power of it. So let's just assume that's true to some extent, um, in the sense that we know that models are getting faster, we know that models are getting cheaper, and let's assume that they keep getting smarter and that we might see a big step up in intelligence soon. So just like reflecting on what that means. So first of all, it makes a lot of more use cases cost effective, right? So if we just take the simple, but something that we, for example, do at Multiply, which is help companies do research and then formulate strategy. If that research is quicker, so you don't have to wait for it to go out and fetch your material, analyze it, and present the findings to you, but it's pretty much instant, and that it's very cheap. Then of course you're going to start doing that for more and more of your research queries. And if then you add on intelligence here, so that the end result, whether that's strategic suggestions or research conclusions, or even creative concepts that you want to use to say take that research and take that strategy and start putting it into action in form of, say, a marketing campaign, are higher quality from the start, so that basically the first draft you get is good, and it's not general, like people often feel with ChatGPT, that it's basically just saying nice words and putting them together and saying things that everyone would have thought about. Launch an app to improve, reach your goals. But that the first draft, the basic, the feeling of that you're talking to someone intelligent, something intelligent, that the quality of the answer is high, then I think this is a little bit like the latency issue of, like, Web 2.0 of social networks, of Google, that they saw that just that, the speed at which you got the answer back increased usage a lot, and increased, the number of returning users a lot. I think the same is true for AI. So if we just take the example of ChatGPT, right? We have, a lot of people trying it out. I don't know the latest stats, but I heard something around, 50% of many age groups in the West have tried ChatGPT, but most of those don't convert to retaining users. Even if you look at, a very an amazing product and a very kind of well-regarded and hyped company called Perplexity, where you can, they're basically positioning themselves as a competitor to Google, but you get answers straight away instead of, getting links to click. So they have like a lot of, monthly visits, but very few compared to that monthly returning users. And I mean, the basic analysis of that, I of course don't know any inside information there, is that people don't feel the quality of what they got was good enough. And that's linked, of course, to the intelligence of the model. So I think it's reasonable to assume that if, this trend continues where, speed goes up and cost goes down and intelligence goes up, especially, you're going to see much, much quicker end user adoption of using AI. And that a lot of the people who are skeptics now feel like, it didn't really give me anything valuable. The analysis it did wasn't, really good enough. Or, ChatGPT wrote me that, but it really feels like ChatGPT. Whereas if you take another step up in intelligence and the quality of that first interaction, or let's say a new interaction. You try ChatGPT again because you hear about this GPT next, then you're going to see a lot more return users. And this is something I can just say anecdotally from our own experience working with customers, is that the better we make our own agents, so let's call it the AIs that perform tasks for you within research and strategy and creative communication. The more we improve that, we see like a direct uptick in how much people use Multiply. So, and of course, we're building on top of the shoulders of giants, of OpenAI, etc. So every time they launch a new model, and we saw this with GPT-4o, and that is smarter, faster, then we see just people are much happier with the first result, and they are much more likely to keep using us. So I just thought I'd share that. Keeping this shorter today because it's less fun to hear someone rant for 25-30 minutes than it is to have a discussion where me and Martin explores together, where we bring on guests. So I'll just keep it like that today. Quick 11 minutes. Hopefully, it was valuable. Let me know if you have any questions or suggestions for who we should bring on to the podcast at rasmus@multiply.co. And yeah, thanks a lot for listening. If you stayed with me to the end, and this was another episode of Co-Creating with AI.